It's the 20th of January 2024. It's about 6 a.m. and I'm climbing Gulaga on the New South Wales south coast near the town of Tilba. No one else wanted to come, so I'm doing it by myself. So Gulaga was formerly known as Mount Dromedary, and it's an 806 metre climb to the top, so return trip is about 5 hours. I've already seen a few wallabies and a couple of rabbits, and there's heaps of bird life that I can hear. So we'll press on and see what we see. Some beautiful tall gums on this walk. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but they're spectacular. Luckily the track's very good. It's probably a fire trail, so it's broad and it's pretty even. I'm probably about a quarter of the way up now. Pretty easy walking. It's pretty steep, but it's not hard. I don't know if you can make it out, but there's a little wallaby or paddy melon just up in there in the middle of the shot. I just disturbed it and there it goes. Yeah, just heard me coming, jumped off the track. So that's the summit in the distance. It's covered in a bit of mist. I'll just zoom in so you can see it a bit closer. Hard to really make it out, but that's where I'm going. This is a beautiful section of the track, just in a little gully through tree ferns. So I'm lucky enough to have had this walk all to myself so far. I'm probably about halfway in and I haven't seen anyone else, which is really magical. I'm just walking quietly and calmly through the bush, and there's a lot of wildlife. Hard to see it because the canopy is pretty dense, but certainly hearing a lot of wildlife. It's very beautiful. We're really into subtropical rainforest now, and I don't think I've ever seen so many tree ferns. Good view down towards the coast. So I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there's a roaring sound up above me, which I'm not sure whether it's wind, because it's very still where I am here, or whether it's rain about to hit me. So I'll find out shortly. So as it turns out, it was wind more than rain. I just came up from behind a ridge and now I'm facing sort of west-northwest, and the wind's obviously coming from that direction, and I was sheltered before, but here's the sign leading me to the top, so I'll keep going. Check out those couple of giants through the mist. They are very tall, those trees. They're easily 60 metres above me. There's been a bit of carnage here. This big tree's obviously come down, fallen across the track, and national parks have sawn through it, left it in place, but there's a big hole up there in the canopy that was filled by that tree. I was just thinking how incredibly lucky it is that this Gulaga wasn't touched by the fires a few years ago, because there's evidence of some pretty severe fire destruction in the areas around here. They were only about 4 years ago. This tree's covered in, I don't know what you call it, but it looks like Spanish moss. Really beautiful. So I just startled a lyrebird. I'm not sure if you heard that, but it was literally about 8 metres in front of me on the path. I'm not sure how it didn't hear me coming, but it jumped off and flew into the bush doing a couple of different calls. Hopefully you heard them. All right, I've just come to what I imagine is the last section of the walk. So we've got some stairs going up to the summit. And when I did this 30 odd years ago with my dad and sister, I remember there being some pretty amazing standing granite boulders up here, so hopefully we go through them again. A little bit of coral fungus growing just here. I can tell I'm getting pretty close to the summit because there's not a hell of a lot of canopy above me, and I can hear that roaring sound of the wind getting stronger again, so I don't think I'm very far now. This sort of innocuous, nondescript looking little plant is some sort of species of Chrysanthera. So if you rub your hands on the leaves, have a smell. They call it mint bush. It has this beautiful minty smell. So lovely. There's heaps of it up here. The whole forest has this amazing minty fresh aroma. Well, there you go. I was right. I wasn't too far from the summit. It's very misty today. The view from up here is, yeah, well, you can see the trees in the mist, which is absolutely beautiful, but underwhelming in terms of what you can see in the distance. But the walk up was incredible. I don't really remember. I thought I was meant to come through a lot more standing stones than I did. So perhaps when I did it many years ago, I came up a bit different way. Okay, so I'm leaving the summit now, heading down. It's 7:30, so it took me bang on 2 hours to get up here. It was quite a decent climb, like an 800-metre climb. It's pretty decent. Like, my legs were definitely feeling it at the end. So I met a fella on the track on the way back down who pointed me in the direction of these beauties, and I'm very glad I bumped into him. And I asked, because these granite outcrops are just fantastic. So I'm passing a few more people on the track now. I've come across maybe half a dozen. It's about 8:30. The dawn chorus has stopped with the birds, and my family's waiting for me, waiting to get on with their day. I'm gonna go to the beach and do a bit of paddleboarding. So I'm doing the Cliffy Young shuffle down to back to the car. Trying not to trip. So here I am back at the car after the shuffle down the hill. That was a bit of a quad killer. The old quads are very sore. But there's a frigid dip in the South Coast Ocean waiting for me, so hopefully that'll make me feel a bit better before the 7-hour drive back to the Central Coast tomorrow.